We are live. Get this set up. Got a great guest today. Go way back. I'm pumped to have. Can't wait. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm going to make sure I share my post here so we can get this thing rolling. And let's do it. Make sure we share. Make sure I hit record. And welcome to the Terb Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Terbet, your local real estate expert with the Terbet Group, Coldwell Banker, HPW, and I'm here for episode 16. Can't believe it's been 16 already. Started this podcast the end of last year with the main focus of talking real estate, business, sports, and beer in the Triangle. And along with that, bring on guests that are entrepreneurs, local business owners, athletes, coaches, and we'll have them tell their story, as well as feature a local beer of the week. And also, before getting into any of that, I always like to touch on some real estate. As I said before in my open, that I sell in the Raleigh, Durham, or we like to call Triangle area. And I like to always give some tips or some advice before I bring on my guest. And today, I just want to briefly discuss what we're seeing in the market. I actually talked about it last week's podcast and just the lack of inventory in our market and what we see in the future of where these listings are going to come from. And I have three things outside of new construction where I see more listings to come in 2021. I feel like we're going to see our market or get more inventory, but just a few months later than usual. The top three things I see is vaccinations. People are getting vaccinated. As they get vaccinated, they are going to have more confidence to have people in their home as well as sell, as well as move. Number two is forbearance. For many people that don't know what forbearance is something where you have deferred payments or your mortgage lender will allow you to pause due to lack of income or loss of income, so you will not lose your home. That forbearance has been extended into June. So in other situations where people may have had to sell their home, it's been paused. And I think now with forbearance coming to an end this summer, or at least projected, that you're going to see some people wanting to simplify, sell their home. Maybe they're not making as much as they were due to the pandemic. And then lastly, investors. There's a lot of investment properties out there that are owned by investors that have tenants in it, and they want to maximize their equity and sell. And most leases are expiring in the summer and June month. So that's where I see that going on. I'm going to bring on my guest now. I can't be more excited to have him on the show with me, Graham Bunn. Graham Bunn and I go way back. He's a Raleigh native. He currently lives in Los Angeles and is the current host of the Country Shine podcast, which is featured by Spotify. He talks country music, country culture. He has talented musicians that he interviews. I've listened to it. I'm going to have him tell a story. But prior to that, he was also a college basketball player, professional basketball player. He's gotten into the entertainment industry in regards to shows. He's a former Bachelorette. So we've got a lot to dig into and talk about and have some fun. So I'm going to take a quick break. And on the other side, I'm going to bring my buddy Graham Bunn and we're going to have a good time and tell his story. So we'll be right back. What's up, Graham?
What's going on, brother?
Welcome to the Terb Podcast, man.
Yeah, man. Episode 16, right?
Yeah, 16? Episode 16, baby. I was telling everybody on the intro that how you and I go way back.
Oh man!
First of all, tell everybody just briefly where you're from, where you are now, and then we'll dig into some other questions after.
Yeah, I mean, I'm born and raised in Raleigh, North Carolina. You and I kind of grew up together, and I live in Los Angeles now, which is really cool. Weather's always good. It's a little bit cold today. It's like 71 instead of 74, but I can tough it out.
You're battling. And now you are hosting a new podcast. I saw you started, I think, late last year, correct?
Yeah. So, I mean, before we get into that, I think we're skipping over. You're talking Raleigh beer. When I agreed to do this, I'm over here drinking my own stock. I didn't get any kind of local beer sent out. Like, what kind of operation are we running over here?
We're working on that, man. I'm working on that. I'm at my office dug in. I have beer on the other side. But you know what? I may have something FedEx to you just for coming on.
Hey, I'm in the office as well, but I got my beer fridge right there in the bar.
Oh, I see that. Is that bourbon too?
A little bourbon over there, but again, I need some Raleigh beer. I thought that's what we were doing here. The only reason I agreed to do this was I thought we were drinking homemade beer.
I got you hooked up, man. I got plenty of beer. You know who my people are, and you know them real well.
I don't know who they are, but I can't wait to find out.
Taylor's Wine Shop.
Okay.
You know all about Taylor's. Remember Taylor's?
I do.
It was the variety pickup. That was where I couldn't cross over Six Forks Road as a kid. I go in there and buy all my beer. But I have a local beer we'll discuss, though, towards the end of the show. So I'll be able to, we'll talk about that. So, all right. So from Raleigh. And one thing, too, is when I moved to Raleigh, I was 7 years old. My mom forced me to play basketball. And my first rec league team.
How's Ida doing?
She's battling, man. I keep her in check.
I said hello, would you?
I told her before coming on. She was actually testing the audio equipment with me. She was excited that we were linking back up. But do you remember our first rec league basketball team together?
Man, I just remember playing in your backyard. You had like the greatest backyard court ever. It was awesome. Like
Terb Arena, where we had the charcoal.
It was
not
great.
Charcoal, but the tan bar 3-point line.
Yeah, man, it was awesome. You had the first clear backboard that I'd ever played on as a kid. So I really loved being there.
Yeah, it's big time. And we won the title that first rec league together.
We're champions, man.
I think your dad coached us.
Yeah, actually, I talked to my mom and dad earlier, and there's a picture of you in our basement from that team.
Get out of town.
Swear.
I need to see that. I remember we watched Hoosiers at your house.
That's right. We had a banquet because that's what champions do. You celebrate the championship, and we watched Hoosiers, had pizza, gave out awards. I think you got the sharpshooter award.
No, I passed you the ball and you shot an award. That's where my dad reminded me I could dribble the ball past half court because no one could press me.
Well, you're a dad awesome man. Always
I would
good to
take
me.
two dribbles and just pass the ball up. So that's awesome, man. So all right, well, tell everybody about the podcast.
Yeah, it's been great. Spotify has ventured in and put a large amount of money and focus on the audio space, and I'm their very first country-sponsored podcast, so on the platform, which is great. So I partnered up with a good friend of mine, Scooter Braun, and so I am producing in conjunction with SB Projects and Spotify, just a country music podcast on the platform, and you can only get it. It's exclusive to Spotify. It's called Country Shine, and basically we just shine on artists, new music, tours, what people are doing through the pandemic, country, everything country, and it's cool. We've had a ton of people come on. Travis Tritt is someone that I just interviewed that will be coming out. He's a legend. Dan and Shay, Brett Young, Kip Moore, Florida Georgia Line. I mean, everybody in country music has done it. It's been a blessing. I have fun. I basically sit here, have a couple beers, talk about country music and life. Yeah, it's just people relating to other people. It's just a way to connect, and it's been great.
That's big time, man. So I guess we'll kind of go forward. As I mentioned to people when I was doing the intro here, is that you played college. You were very obvious. I remember back in the days battling. I was joking with you earlier. AU Finley Y battling every day.
Yeah, man.
Remember Tutors, Whitney, Chris Temple. We balled it was awesome. And then you obviously strive to play get that Division I scholarship, which you did.
Yeah.
Went to Bowling Green and then over to App State. And tell everybody about that experience, man, playing at that level.
Yeah, I mean, again, incredible blessing, and I'm very thankful and grateful for it. As well as anyone, because you were around a college program and you were a part of a coaching staff of a really good program in North Carolina. So not something that's very easy. So humble brag, I was very proud of that accomplishment. It took a lot of work, and I was blessed to have some success. I won 2 conference championships in college. Was blessed to make an all-conference team my senior year and team MVP, all of the awards. But the awards don't really mean anything outside of I got my education paid for, and I was able to look at my parents in the eye and say, here's what I'm doing with my life. So it was just a really cool personal goal that I had set when I was a kid, and I made a lot of sacrifices to achieve those goals. And in Raleigh, the competition in Raleigh is pretty stout. And I was a late bloomer. I played on all the all-star teams, but I never played. I was always like the worst player on the team. And you and I have a very close friend, Mr. Chucky Barnes. Hopefully he's tuning in.
Yeah, we need to message him.
He was like the best player. We were very close. He was like my brother growing up. And, he was just so much better than me. And then by the end of it, to be able to accomplish some things our senior year, it was just kind of like a long journey that I'm very proud of. And I'm very lucky and very fortunate that it worked out for me, because just like anything in life, a lot of dominoes have to fall in the right place. And I was very lucky, very fortunate.
And then you finished at App State, and you were able to play professionally overseas.
Yeah.
How did that happen? Like, what was your path? I mean, it was
I'm gonna go ahead and tell on myself. So the Germany thing was cool, but I will say that I got helped quite a bit, because my best friend in college was Jason Williams from Duke. So
I saw that too. How did you meet? How did you guys hook up? Did you play ball before school, or because I know Coach you guys are good friends?
Coach K had approached me about a walk-on spot at Duke coming out of high school, and I never thought I was good enough to play at Duke, so I wanted to go somewhere where I could play. I had sit out. I was a late bloomer, so I had sit out enough in my life. I wasn't going to sit another 3 years in hopes that I could play as a senior. And I was very lucky. I started my first game at Bowling Green and had a wonderful time there, played in every game I suited up for except for one. Still don't understand that. But so Coach K said, look, if you want to train here, come on, work my camp, use the facilities, work out, play with the team. And Jay Williams was the point guard at Duke at the time, so he and I used to lock up, and I would guard him nightly, and we just kind of became buddies. And I was renting a house in Raleigh, so he would come and crash and come and go as he pleased, and we would go to the gym in the middle of the night. We'd go to the gym and first thing in the mornings, and just kind of became workout partners. And then he became an extension of my family. He comes over for Christmas dinner. My family loves him. He wrote some incredibly embarrassing stories about me in his book. Like, yeah, he's just a guy that I love to death. And like, honestly, one of the greatest basketball players to ever live. Before his injury, that kid was unbelievable.
Remember the Maryland game, the comeback. That's cool. Like, I didn't even know that about you, man. That's yeah. Plus, I know you're a Carolina guy, so it would have been hard to be a Dookie.
Yeah, I mean, we lived together for quite a while in New York, and he used to really not enjoy how much I love Carolina. So, it was,
well,
it was fun.
I'm a being dad or Dookies. Matter of fact, I surprised Dad last year because every year our bucket list is going to Cameron for a Duke Carolina game, and every year I'll be like, next year. Right. Well, luckily, last year I just finally said enough's enough. My dad's a young 85, great shape, but I was like, you know what? I'm surprising him. So I had an open house from 2 to 4, 4:15. I don't know if you remember the name Price Baldwin. Do you know that name by chance?
It sounds familiar.
He played JV at Carolina way back when, and he coached me at Ravenscroft. But we've remained close, and he has a lot of connections with tickets and stuff. So I reach out to him. I say, hey, can I get friend of the family 2 tickets? Luckily, it wasn't the year before with Zion. It was like $3,000 just to get in the building.
Yeah.
And he's like, I got you. So at 4:15, I called Dad. Mom was trying to trick him. He was in his sweats. And I finally said, just get him on the phone. I said, I'll be there in 10 minutes. We're going to Cameron. And it was just quiet. And he's like, are you serious? So we go to the game. Obviously, great win. But if you would have told me 5 days after leaving that gym, leaving Cameron and saying in 5 days the world will be shut down, or I'd be like, you're crazy. So I'm so blessed that my dad and I got to share that experience, because quite frankly, I know we're heading in the right direction. I don't know when the next time I'll have 9,200 in Cameron like that. So what an experience. So you went to Germany to play ball.
I went to Germany. Oh yeah. So the point of the story was after college, I was helping Jay gear up for his sophomore campaign before the accident, and ended up getting to work out at Hoops Gym up in Chicago in front of a lot of pro scouts. Not because I was there, invited there. I was there to help Jay. And as you know, right time, right place, had a good day, knocked down some shots against some really good players. I think my workout group, because the way it worked out was you got up and you did shooting drills in the morning from 8 to 10. You did lifting weights from 11 to 1, pick up from 3 to 5, and then whatever you wanted to do in the nightcap, guys, it wasn't mandatory. So I did that for a few days just to be there to support Jay. And my workout group was Devin Harris from Wisconsin, who ended up having a great NBA career. Troy Bell from Boston College, who was in and out of the league. He was the all-time leading scorer at Boston College for a little while. Raymond Felton, Jay Will, and Andre Iguodala. And so
it's not bad.
Yeah, it was cool. I was the only non-NBA guy in the whole camp. So I had a couple good games where I just played my role, hit open shots, didn't make any mistakes, and then I got an offer to play professional basketball after that. And it was just kind of like I was a beneficiary from my relationship with Jay and Jay's agency. But, I averaged 28 overseas, so, it was all right.
Where in Germany?
A town called Gelsenkirchen. It's right outside Dusseldorf.
My dad and I, we did a Beyond Band of Brothers tour about 5 years ago. And we saw Munich. I'd love to go back to Germany, and that place looks amazing. Did you travel? Is it just Germany, or did you go through Europe?
We went to Amsterdam quite a bit because it was 45 minutes away, and we went to Paris a few times because my teammates, we'd jump on the train. It was a 4-hour train ride, but I didn't travel a ton.
All right. So your basketball, how long did you play ball for?
Just 1 year. I ended up breaking my shooting hand, and that was it. Because I never put people in the rim. I was a shooter. If I can't shoot the ball, I don't really have much value.
So then you move back. Where'd you come back from Germany? What took you with the music industry? Obviously, you had different roles. I mean, what was your next job after ball? Like, where did it take you?
I was a doorman at a shoe store, I believe, was my first job. I went to New York because I didn't want to live at home. And as you know, when you dedicate your whole life to something, when that's over, it's kind of like, all right, you're completely starting over from scratch.
Exactly.
I had a few coaching offers, and for me, that just didn't seem like the route. I had given my entire life to basketball, and I wanted to see what else I could do. So I took odd jobs, man. I was painting fences, construction. I was a doorman at a high-end shoe store for about a year, bartended, started a clothing company, just did a bunch of random stuff.
That was the 46 NYC?
Mm-hmm.
Is that when you started that?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So then what took you? So you were in New York. So I remember being home, and it was about 11 years ago, and someone's like, Graham's on the Bachelorette. And I'm like, what?
Oh,
man. And there you were, man. I was like, that's my boy. Yeah, he's on the Bachelorette.
My guy.
How did that happen?
Man, I was dating a girl, and she was in the entertainment industry, and some unfortunate things, just like, unless you marry someone, relationships, you have them, they end, and then you move on. Well, this was a hard one for me to get past. And unfortunately for me, someone in my family had passed away on February 10th. And it was the closest person that I had ever lost in my life. Then when I came back to New York, things fell apart with the girl. So I was like, man, what's happening in my life? So I was working at a bar. It was Valentine's Day. I had just buried someone in my family. I had kind of lost my girlfriend. And I think you know this about me. I didn't drink in high school. I didn't really drink in college. So I was fairly new. I didn't drink in Europe when I was playing ball. I was fairly new to alcohol. And, that's dangerous when you're going through something either traumatizing or difficult. And I'm not proud of it, but I 1000% was abusing alcohol. So I was in a bar that I worked at, so it was a safe environment, but I was drinking way too much on Valentine's Day, and somebody from the show approached me and said, hey, if you can pass a blood test, I'll put you on TV tomorrow.
Wow.
And that's kind of how it happened. I was like, no. But after talking to my family, and my parents very well, my parents were concerned because they had never seen me drink like that. And they had never seen me behave this way. They felt like, hey, maybe this would be a healthy thing for you to go try. Like, you're not trying to be an actor. It's not going to hurt your career. Why don't you go try it out? If you meet someone nice, amazing, you're heartbroken already. And if it works out, great. And if it doesn't, come back to your life and you start over 3 months later. It's no big deal.
Right. So then you go on the show.
Then I go on the show.
And then you end up turning her down.
Well, yeah, I did all right. I did all right on the show.
Because I remember the show where y'all went back to the Wake Forest, because you played at Rollsville, right?
Yep.
And you took her shooting over there, and then
I think
in that show, did they offer you the flower and then you accept it? But didn't you say I'm good? Like,
yeah,
I'm ready to. I'm okay.
Yeah, I said, look, this is not for me. Thank you for the opportunity. And it was. And everybody was super cool. The girl I'm still really tight with the girl. Her name's Deanna, and love her family. She lives like not too far from here. The last concert I went with Deanna. Like, we went and saw a country show. She's a country fan. I'm tight with her husband. Great guy. And yeah, it just wasn't for me. So I was very honest and said, whatever y'all want me to do, I'll do. I don't care about my ego. Like, you guys can send me home or whatever, whatever you need from me, all good. I just not going to marry anyone off TV at this moment in time of my life. And I'm headed home.
I don't know what the success rate for that is, but you probably made a good decision on that one. So,
I mean, I love her to death. So, who knows, but
what an experience though. I mean, that's like I said, I had no clue, obviously. And like, we were coming to my family room and someone texted me or something like, Graham's on TV. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then, of course, my wife's like, oh, you know him? Oh, so
what's your wife think? Was she like,
no,
she thought
it was cool. But another friend of mine, like, she bachelorettes it like every season. So I text her, I say, my buddy Graham's coming on. Make sure you tune in. She's like, oh my gosh. So that's cool. So you went into so Bachelorette's done. Did that help you kind of get into the entertainment industry?
No,
I don't know if that's the right words to say, but like TV or music. So, because I didn't even know you liked country music. Still, just because we know we're rolling in with Nas and Mobb Deep going to Finley Y.
Going to Finley Y,
and Biggie. By the way, I watched Biggie's a Netflix special last night. It was pretty good. I don't know if you saw it.
I started it last night, and it was really good. I loved all the home footage they had in there.
Yeah, he was. I was thinking to myself, like, that guy's ahead of his time. I mean, he was vlogging before vlogging was a thing. I mean, he actually had like cassette tapes.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, man, this guy would have killed it on TikTok.
Yeah, it was amazing. So I think they could have made that a 10-hour thing. I mean, as far as just how much they could include there. So all right, so because after the Bachelorette, where'd you go next? What happened?
Man, I like, honestly, and I think anyone that knows me or has followed me since that show, and I had a meeting today with a production company about a project that I'm writing and producing, and they brought up the Bachelorette. Like, I can't escape it. It is what it is. And
it's not a bad thing, man. I think it's money, dude. It's like,
I was myself. Like, I'm not embarrassed of how I acted. I was very normal. I wasn't a thirst trap.
What was it like having the cameras all around you? Was anything scripted, or not scripted, but
not for me. Yeah, not for me. I mean, again, this is gonna sound terrible, but I had a genuine connection with the girl. So like, they were like, oh, cool. We'll just put them together and film it. Now, other people, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. So, because, I was just wondering that. So, all right. So, Bachelorette's over. So, then keep going.
I honestly, I went back to my life. And again, I was
back to New York.
Back to New York. And I started dating an actress before the show. We ended up, unfortunately, it was the girl, things that fell apart. She and I reconnected after the show, and I went back to bartending and running a clothing company that raised money for children's charities. I had no interest in doing entertainment. That wasn't my thing. Like, all I knew was sports. So if I was going to do anything, it was like, oh, cool, maybe I can get into broadcasting. But it didn't even occur to me to do that stuff. Like, I know a lot of people use the platform that The Bachelor provides to get into the entertainment industry, I didn't see it that way. I just saw it as a really cool way to meet a nice girl, have a wonderful experience, and then kind of like go back home. It's like vacation. So yeah, I just went back to my life, man. I went back to the grind, just like you and just like anyone else. I just tried to figure out what my life looked like after that, because the last thing I wanted to do was be a professional Bachelorette contestant. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't going to blog about it. I wasn't going to do any kind of recap show. That just wasn't my path. And I'm not knocking it. People that do that stuff are very successful. It just, I didn't think I was suited to do it.
Yeah. And then the country show, did you move to Nashville?
No, I did it out here. Yeah. So I was out here, and I'm sure you've heard of Tom's, right? Have you heard of Tom's Shoes?
Yeah.
So Blake Mikowski, he and I, we don't know one another, but we started our companies in the same time, like right around 2010. And the whole concept, which I'm very proud of. I mean, we were not 1/10 as successful as Blake was, but the concept of social entrepreneurship, giving back, selling a product to give back, was everything that our company was about. And so was Blake. So I used to go and talk at all these summits about business and attaching products and entrepreneurship with a social cause attached to it. And I did that out here in Los Angeles, and happened that the owner of the station was at one of those talks and kind of heard my accent, was like, oh, I wonder if he lives in LA, which I did. And reached out to whoever booked me for that talk and just had me come out to the local radio station here that was privately owned, and said, hey, we'd love for you to audition or, read for the morning show host. And that's just kind of how it was. An act of God. Like, I'd never done radio before, didn't study it. Los Angeles is the largest country market in America, because there's only one station. That was it. And I did it. Awesome. So like a week later, I was on
How long, and that, which station was that?
Go Country 105.
Yeah. And how long were you there for?
5.5 years.
That's incredible, man.
Everybody in radio hates me, because most people start off in like Tupelo, Mississippi, or Chattanooga, Tennessee. I started off in LA.
Yeah, like, I'm in LA, man. I'm good. Biggest market in the world, basically. And now then you left there to the show, correct? What was the name of the show? Where it was
Real Country on USA. Yeah. So it was, it was a wonderful opportunity. Unfortunately, the radio station said, look, if you go do the TV show, this is not going to be here for you, because they didn't want me doing other things. And I totally get that. No worries, understand. But everyone in my corner felt like it was a wonderful opportunity. So I went and hosted the show in hopes that it would get picked up, but it didn't. And but it was a fun thing. I got to host a TV show. Who could say that?
It's awesome, man. And then you went from here to what you're doing now.
Yeah, now, working for Spotify, just kind of hosting my own show on Spotify, which is, again, very humbling and awesome. I mean, they put up a billboard in Times Square. Like, it was.
I saw that. I saw
like, what?
I gotta get maybe a Terb thing up there next to it or something. Just kind of
throw it up there. Man.
Relocating to Raleigh. Call my boy.
You're on your way, bro. Hey, episode 16, dude.
Episode 16, man. It's funny. It's just putting in the work, baby. The consistency. So you're enjoying this. So when you were with the radio station, you got it, like you said, you interviewed a bunch of people. I know. Obviously, we were friends on social and seeing you at all the concerts, behind the scenes. I mean, that had to be unbelievable experience, and just meeting the people that you did. I mean, that's gotta be awesome.
I'm so lucky. I think it was a gift that I was not a radio personality. It was just, I was a country music fan that happened to work in country music, because when I met the artists, just like you, they're just people like us. And I ended up becoming buddies with them. And if they wanted to hang out, I would hang out. And if I would never bother them. Like, it just wasn't my thing. I was very lucky and very fortunate that I'd already done enough things in entertainment where it was just like, man, I'm just happy to be here. Y'all do you, like, all good. Yeah. And then I think when you connect with people and you treat them normal and like human beings, they gravitate towards you. And then again, the only country station in Los Angeles was the one I worked at. So when they were in town, they were like, yo, I don't know many people here. You want to hang out? I'm like, yeah, sure, of course, man.
Yeah, I'm good. That's so that's kind of how I felt too. Because when I was at Charlotte, my roommate at the time, Josh Snyder, was best friends with Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, he sponsored our very first AAU team. Junior did.
Nice.
And so called him Snooter. And then my boy Hovis, we were fraternity brothers. He ended up working with Junior and having a great career in racing. But that was probably the most, like, I've been around a lot of athletes, players, but I remember playing PlayStation in Dale Jr.'s house, and we're teammates playing college football.
Yeah.
And then, but he respected that we were just buddies. We'd go out on the boat.
Yeah.
His boat was the Aquaholic. I remember he called me up and said, how much do you need for the AU team? And just a great guy. And unfortunately, his father passed away. We were there, and it was just interesting. But you're right. I mean, they respect, but it was hard because he'd come to hang out with us at our apartment, and within 5 minutes, people know he was there. It was like a zoo, So
yeah.
I think he respected that. So that's cool. So where do you want to go, man? Like, what's your vision? Like, what you're doing the podcast now? I mean, do you have what's your dream? Where do you want to be in 5 years?
Man, I want to be alive in 5 years.
I know it's day to day. Get that. What's your vision? First of all, is Kevin there that we can see Kevin?
Yeah, I mean, Kevin, he's in his room. I had to go get him, but yeah, he's in his bed sleeping right now. I'll bring him on.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Yeah, for me, 5-year plan, like, able to still be at Spotify. I've really enjoyed the platform. I enjoy the people that I work with. I got to partner with one of my best friends, Mr. Scooter Braun, which I know sounds like a name drop, but he's just a great human being. And what he does for the world, to be attached to someone like that is a blessing. So if I can still be working for Scooter and working for Spotify, I'll be very, very lucky. But I'm lucky that I even got to do this for a season. I signed a 1-season deal, so we'll see.
Oh, I'm sure. I've listened to some of them, man. They're awesome. Good stuff. It's amazing.
What about yourself? Hold on. Let's, because the cool thing about us, and the only reason that I was like, I would love to come on and support us. We grew up together. So I would love to know, like yourself, what are your visions? Like, what do you want to do?
Great question.
Have you enjoyed this? Are you loving this? Yeah. Do you like it?
I like this. This is good. I like being interviewed myself. No, I never thought I'd sell real estate a day in my life. Growing up in it, I moved here when I was 7, as you know.
But your mom is a beast, right? Your mom is a beast in the real estate world.
She don't slow down. She's a list appointment. We're working, and so been 33 years. She's been doing it. I'm in year 15. When I came back from coaching, I just thought I'll go sell houses. Mom made it look easy. It's like anything as a kid. When you're growing up, you see your parents working. You don't know what they're doing, man. And and so I'm in year 15, and probably about 3 years ago, I actually hired my first business coach. I'm gonna give him a shout out. He's actually in LA, David Kesey, former minor league baseball player. Kesey training. Saw him on a Facebook post because when you wake up every day and unemployed, as in our industry, you want that accountability. And I was ready to take it to another level. And he's the one that basically said social media is it, and to provide as much information as possible to your clients and have ubiquity. And I just enjoy that part of it, where, it was something where if I didn't accomplish, you don't sell something every day, but if I was accomplishing my goals, like my Tuesday tips from Terb, my whiteboard Wednesdays with Terb, my Super Terb episodes, then the podcast came about, the end of last year. My guy that helps me with my website, I was like, hey man, I want to just have as much content out as there's possible, because in 5 years, if you're going to be a glorified telemarketer in this industry if you don't have a personal brand. I mean, it's just everything's so accessible. So you want to, when people say Terb, I want them to think real estate. So my vision is the next 5 to 8 years is really crush it, take what my mom's done, my sister's obviously on the team, and just continue to build that to where we're helping people. But then I have a team that I'm working with as well, and go from there. I'm coaching Jacob's basketball team, so I'm ready to get that back going.
Nice.
I'm running sets, quick hitters. I got to remind myself I'm in the WCBA. getting close to being teed up in different variations. But no, that's my, you know what, I enjoy doing this, and we'll see. But the podcast part of it, I just love hearing people's stories and how they've accomplished their goals. It's been a lot of fun. So I don't know I'm that guy anyway that called into the sports radio show to critique the Panthers game on Sunday. So getting on a mic was never hard for me. If anything, I enjoy it. So it's pretty cool. So rapid fire questions now. So what was your biggest win in sports?
That's a tough one. I've been lucky to win a lot of big games. I hit a game winner as a junior to win the conference championship in high school. That was pretty dope.
Over who? Who did you beat?
Harnett Central, I believe, is the team that we beat.
Very cool. Because that was my next question. Cool. What's the best place you visited?
Best place I've ever visited? Probably Maui. I haven't been to many places. Maui or Tulum, Mexico. One of those two spots. That's
where Leslie and I did our honeymoon. It's Maui. And
Maui?
We'll be married, hard to believe, man. 17 years in June. And
don't rub it in, man. Don't rub it in.
I know.
Some of us are still looking, you know?
Hey, I was going to get to that too. You know, if you have you got someone you're dating over there. But we were going to go back to Maui for our 10-year. That was like my goal or plan. But then it's long ways, man. So we ended up just going to Jamaica, did a sandals. We had a blast. I was like, we can be there in 2.5 hours from Raleigh to Maui, man. That's 6 hours. Really? Yeah. And your body's out of whack. Yeah. I mean, it's actually. Well, I can't even do. Yeah. It's 4 hours from California. So
for me, it's
10 hours. Yeah.
3.5 for me. So
you just jump right on it. But when you get there, it takes you 4 days just to acclimate. You know, the good thing is you don't miss the morning excursions because you're up at like 5 a.m., 4:30 in the morning, and then you come back.
Jet lag is a frame of mind, man. Jet lag is a frame of mind, brother.
Yeah, so you may have mentioned, but who's the coolest or best interview you've had? Best personality?
Well, I think, a lot of people will be shocked by this, and, they're going to think it's a cliche answer, but I got a chance. So I dropped an episode on Christmas Day, and my pastor is the coolest person I've ever interviewed. It was awesome. Guy named Judah Smith, very talented Arthur. He's the pastor of my community. He's just the man. And it was a really cool opportunity. One of my best friends, but a cool opportunity to share what I do with someone that I look up to, someone that I love. Yeah, it was amazing.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
But who do you want to meet?
Minka Kelly would be cool.
Yeah.
Minka Kelly would be dope. But that's
I'll see what I can hook up. I can see what I can do.
That's selfishly. I mean, I've been very blessed that, in Los Angeles, the community is very small. Entertainment community is very small. So you come across people all the time. Jordan would be another guy. LeBron would be a guy. Those would be really cool.
You see, LeBron just sold his house, or he just listed his house for $20 million there in Brentwood.
Yeah, so I know someone that lives on that street, and I drive by his house probably once or twice a month, and I won't be shocked when it goes like that.
I would be cruising because that's where the Juice lived.
Oh,
back in the day. They tore it down.
They tore it down.
They tore it down. They built that back up, and then you say it's small. Do you know my he's not my guy, but Josh Altman. He's the big real estate guy from $1 Million Listing LA, Altman Brothers. Okay. If not, he's on Bravo. That's my junk food, man. I watched the $1 Million Listing LA in New York.
Okay.
They crush it in real life, but of course during the show, they're selling $30 million properties. And
you might like this. This would be something cool we can talk about. And again, I mentioned this to you before, and I'll probably get some backlash on this, but I don't care. We grew up together. It's different when you talk to someone that loves you and like wants the best for you. Sometimes you get on people are shock jocks and they want to hear. So my ex is now on a real estate show, and I forgot about it. I don't know if you watch the real estate shows.
It's on Netflix, right? Or what's the name of it?
Selling Sunset.
Yeah, I haven't watched a lot of that. I mean, I've seen it. I gotta check. What's her name?
Chriselle Staus.
Check that out. All right. Yeah, that's.
But you need to start a reality show.
So what I was
saying, Raleigh, bro.
I was going to do the $250,000 listing, Raleigh market.
You should.
We're hey, that's the plan, man. We're gonna we'll get some camera crews and we see everybody. Like we got offers on the $300,000 house, and no, but it's amazing amount. We have 70 people a day moving here.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what's and people are coming out and they're like, "That's what it costs to buy that."
Answer me this: do you think there's more people buying $1 million listings than everything underneath? Because I would say no. More people buy less than $1 million than buy above $1 million. So why not make a show about dope houses that are less than $1 million?
I like it. I'm on it.
Now hopefully my house is not one of those, because I'm praying that the market just keeps pushing it up and up. But other than that,
what kind of house do you have? What's the square footage?
Square footage is small, like 2,000 square feet. Yeah, it's up in the hills though. It's got a great view. I'm very lucky, and again, I'm single, so it works out great for me. It's got a backyard for Kevin.
Do you have a pool?
No pool. Wish it had one.
That's I'm on that though. I'm gonna start working on that. I always made that joke. I was like, the $250,000 agent, Raleigh.
Hey,
but
that's
real life though, man. That's real life with what we're seeing right now. Where home goes on the market, it doesn't even get to the market. It's coming soon. People are buying sight unseen. It's not when, it's how many offers and when you need them by. And so it's just coaching. That's where my coaching background comes in, because my hashtag is Coach Terb, and residential real estate, man, is very emotional, and it's the way you've got to approach things, and that the coaching aspect of it, that's helped me at least try to help my clients win in such a competitive. And in the marketing side of it, I enjoy, because it's almost like recruiting. It's like, let's get it out there, and get as many people in there as well. So, question I like to ask all my guests, kind of, I love to hear all the answers, so I'm looking forward to yours too. Is best advice you've ever had, and by who?
Probably my dad. I love my dad to death. He's my hero. And just that hard work will give you the best ROI on anything you ever invest in.
That's good. What I'm going to do too is I've said this last week. I'm like, I'm going to start a little book of quotes or best advice ever given from my guests. And then I have them ready by the end of, I don't know how many I'll do these, but each answer has been awesome, man. So, well, brother, do you want to stay on for the last segment? I know we can keep talking, but I'm going to feature this local beer of the week, and you may be shocked. You may have a shipment to your house.
Yeah, man, I'll check it out, man. I'm just enjoying you. I'm glad to be here and humbled that you would ask me to be on. So whatever you need, bud.
Well, it's funny. What's cool, man, is like, I don't know the last time we talked, but what's so nice about great friends is like you pick right up.
Oh yeah.
My boy Whitney is my best friend. Whitney Horn. He's in New York. Similar situation. I was in his wedding down in Brazil. He lives in New York City, like I said, and Leslie and I were able to fly up and see he and his wife Elisa. And similar situation. We may not see each other for years, and it's like we're back at it, man. And that's what it's all about. So
yeah, I haven't changed much, man. So
I just remember the hooping days, man, and that was fun, man. That's back in the day. That's when we had pagers.
I saw Top Gun at your house at your birthday party. That's where I saw Top Gun, which is, a pop culture reference, for the very first time at your birthday party. And it's still one of my favorite movies of all time.
I'm ready for the sequel to come out. They've been pushing it back because of COVID.
Yeah. Maverick, man. It's going to be good.
When do you think we'll have concerts again?
2022.
Yeah. Now, do you think do you think for people to go watch concerts, they're going to have to show that they're vaccinated?
I think that's going to be regulated regionally. So I do believe in California, you will have to. In Texas, no. I think it'll be free for all. Come as you go, as you please. In North Carolina, I don't think you'll have to show it. In New York, you 1,000% will have to show it. But that's just my guess. Yeah,
no, I see that. I mean, and I had to opt out of the Panthers this year, and that was tough. So I'm hoping we can get. They allowed some fans in, but it would, I didn't want to take Jacob when there's 5,000 people there, man. It's just not
the
same. But then we got a new house in August, and my wife, of course, and all our friends laughed because the Panther room was the first room set up because we closed the end of August. Well, week one was the 1st September there, or first week. So then I have a 65-inch, of course, Panther fathead color painted up. I do have the fridge in that room, 65-inch, and then I have two 43 inches under it. So it's football fun day Sunday all day over there. So
that's a nice flex. I'm not a Panthers fan, but I get it.
You're a Skins fan. I still call them the Skins. I can't call them the Washington Football Club or team. Yeah. I still call them the Deadskins just because of the rival. Junior's a big Skins, but I like Rivera.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We got a lot of Carolina guys. We're getting ready to sign Curtis Samuel too. Thank you very much.
But we're going to go all in over Deshaun if they trade him.
That's going to be amazing if you guys get Deshaun. I'll be happy for you.
I think Tepper's going to throw everything at him because he also he's a good businessman and he knows Clemson's not too far down the road from Charlotte. And
correct.
I mean, everybody and their mom and dad and sister would be buying Deshaun jerseys. Plus, he's 25 in his prime.
Would you give up McCaffrey for him?
Yep. I like McCaffrey too, but I'll tell you what messed up my boy McCaffrey. See, this is great. We're going on this tangent here. So what hurt my boy McCaffrey is that Olivia Culpo.
Easy now. That's a good friend of mine.
No, I like her, but his game, he's playing with puppy dogs now. There's things going. I don't know, but we got to get the mind back. And the house he bought in Lake Norman. Oh my gosh! But he's a phenomenal player. I would not like to see him go. But I also think running backs. The year he won 1,000, we won 5 games. Right. So you win in the NFL. With the front four, look at the Bucks did to Mahomes. They were missing 3 offensive linemen, but they could get to Mahomes without having to blitz. Yeah. Similar to when the Giants upset the Patriots on their undefeated.
That's why Washington's a beast. We can get home with our front four.
Right. That's you start inside out, and then you don't mean not. But McCaffrey's more than just a back. He can catch it. He's also great in the community. There's so much more to him. I hope we don't get rid of because I'd love to see Watson, McCaffrey, Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore.
There's no way that you're getting Watson and keeping McCaffrey. No way.
If we just get me in the front office? We'll work something out. We'll get some we'll get some trades. Brian Burns is a stud too. He's our second-year defensive end.
Yeah.
You guys have the kid out of who's the defensive end, the rookie there, Chase
Young. Yeah.
He's strong. What are y'all going to do at quarterback?
We're going to roll with Heineke, I think. And again, I like his salary and the way that the team is constructed. We just need somebody that's able to move around a little bit in the pocket, make a play or two. He scrambles well. The defense is going to maintain, and I think we're going to end up being pretty good.
He's strong, man. He's a baller. Where do you guys pick?
19, I think. So we're going offensive weapon. No, they won't move up. Rivera seems like he's set at 19. We'll get a wide out. We'll get someone to kind of pair with McLaurin.
I can see you guys going after a veteran quarterback too.
Free agency. I think we'll go get somebody again. Now, once you get tape on the Heineke kid, things will change. He won't be able to do what he did to Tampa Bay next year because people will have tape on him.
It's just like Kyle Allen with us, 2018 when Cam got hurt.
Well, we have Kyle Allen on the roster, so we have him.
He knows the system, but I remember I surprised Jacob. This is one of the best memories of all time. So October, I went to London with Dad and a best friend of mine, David Roof, because I always told Leslie, I said, when the Panthers go to London, I'm going. I've never been there, but I was like, we played in Tottenham, it was a brand new stadium, unbelievable.
Yeah.
We win. Kyle Allen was playing. But then in November, my other bucket list, I got a lot of – I like to create memories versus purchasing things. And
you got a nice bucket list going, man. You checked off like 10 bucket list things.
You only live, like you said, live once, right?
Yeah.
I surprised Jacob at 5:30 in the morning on a Saturday, told him to get dressed. We're going to Green Bay. So we flew up Saturday, did a stadium tour that night in Lambeau. We sat front row, end zone for the game, and that was the game. And it snowed.
Nice.
It wasn't even supposed to snow. It was cold, man. And it started snowing. I'm sitting there in the fourth quarter, and we had to get. That's where we got stopped at basically the 1 yard line to try to tie. Like we were down 8, and McCaffrey got stopped right there. But I'm sitting there going, I'm in Lambeau Field in the snow with my son at night, and it took us 3 hours to get back to our hotel room because the people weren't ready for the ice. And and then one last story is the night. Kind of how things happened by chance, but I was going back for team camp going into my junior year at high school in Ravenscroft, and we're in Dallas, I think. And I look up, and there's Dean Smith at the ticket counter. And Dad, that's when we flew standby. And Dad goes, there was 1 seat in first, 2 in coach. And Dad goes, you take first. Good luck. And I go into first class, and there's the seat. That was my seat, but someone was in it. And they're like, well, you can sit up there. I look over, it's window seat. There's Dean next to it. I'm going into the seat, and I have a basketball tie on. And he's locked on the tie, and he's like, shit. But I was respectful. But what was cool is he's looking like it through a Sports Illustrated magazine. I'm like, I can't believe I'm sitting next to Dean Smith. And there's a ad for Jordan, Vince Carter.
Yeah.
Like, dude, this guy. So finally, the last 15 minutes when we were, about to touch down, we started chatting. And that was a cool story, man.
That's awesome. And I love that story. I got a picture of Jordan in my hallway right now.
That's cool, man. I did let him know I like Bobby Hurley though.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. Cool. Bobby Hurley's the man. I mean, I wore 11 because of Bobby Hurley, and I'm a Carolina fan.
Well, me too. See, I didn't even know that. Well, I'm not going to say much, but yeah, 11 is my thing. Terb 11
is my thing.
My handle. My son Jacob knows all about Hurley. That was bad. That was when college basketball was legit, man. And leaving early was leaving. I remember when Weber left his sophomore year, I'm like, damn, they leaving sophomore year.
Yeah.
Then Kobe was, or KG was 94.
Yep.
Kobe was 96. And then I was like, just crazy. Now it's like, I wish. I've been watching.
Duke you're lucky. Duke was the last program that got bit by that, and it was William Avery's class that changed everything. Then it was before that. There was no people didn't really leave Duke early, but Elton Brand, all those guys, they started leaving early. Corey Maggette after 1 year. Ooh. I think that was the first one and done for Coach K, and then that was it.
And he came off the bench.
Yeah, he was sixth man.
That's when UConn upset him.
Mm-hmm.
And and then of course Zion.
Yeah, monster.
That guy's incredible. Have you watched any of LaMelo?
Oh yeah. LaMelo's from Chino Hills, which is like an hour south of here. So I've actually seen LaMelo in person at the Drew League and a couple workouts at LMU. He's a special player.
Well, it's funny when the draft, because these guys are coming out. Like if they had the draft tomorrow, I wouldn't even know who's in the top 5. I mean, college basketball has been such a weird year this year with COVID, and you need fans for college basketball. I mean, there's some sports you can hide it. College basketball, like the Blue Bloods, Kentucky, Duke, all struggling, but you have teams going to a real, into the arena on game night when you need that momentum. It's a different story. But when we were picking third, because I'm a big Hornets fan. And I was hoping that LaMelo would fall to us because going back to my coaching days, he has things you can't teach. And even though the
6'8", 6'8" guard, you can't teach that.
The kid that went to Minnesota from Georgia Edwards, Diamond 6'5" guard, okay, and then Wiseman, it's a dying breed in the fact that he's athletic, but now everything's so small ball, and so we got him, but obviously the kid's just fun. They're playing Minnesota tonight, so I'm going to get home and watch that. So hopefully we can go 3-3 on this road trip. So
I'm a Devontae Graham fan, though. I hate to see anybody cut into Devontae Graham's minutes, so that's tough. He's
strong. Hopefully he'll get his knee right. He's been hurt, and so hopefully he'll get his knee right, and then he can come in on. I just don't know how you cannot start LaMelo, and then you've got Terry Rozier. Malik Monk's playing real well, but he may get traded. Depends on what they try to do, but Malik's doing
He's
well.
1,000% getting traded, but I love him. He's a Raleigh kid. He's super talented. I got a chance to go to the Lakers game, and this was a gift. It's not like I'm not bragging because they weren't my tickets, but Scooter gave me courtside to see Devontae, and I got to go say what's up to him on the wood when he played the Lakers. So that was pretty cool. And him being a Broughton guy, he committed to App State. He was gonna wear 11, and then he decommitted, which was the worst. But I'm still a fan of his.
So he went to Kansas late then.
Oh yeah, he committed to App State, decommitted, and went to prep school. Went to can't remember where he went, and then he signed with Kansas.
Yeah, no, he's done really
Brewster.
well.
He went to Brewster Academy, which when I was in prep school, I went to New Hampton. We beat Brewster by about 100, which was nice.
Yeah, I've actually enjoyed the NBA this year. I mean, like, I don't know, I like watching the Hornets, and LaMelo makes it where it's and I like the brand they play. They need help on the front line though. Cody Zeller plays hard, and we got Biz back Biombo, but other than that, we have no one rebounding the basketball. So
Biombo works out at my gym in the off season out here in LA.
That dude's had a career now.
Yeah,
and he's made some money.
He's a super nice guy, and you'd be blown away by the weight that guy throws around.
Yeah, and he's been. I think he's mentoring LaMelo, or at least he's trying to.
Yeah.
He's cool. So, all right, man. Well, let me take a quick break. I'm going to come back, and we'll do this last segment, and we'll talk about our local beer of the week. I know we could keep talking. This has been so much fun, so I really appreciate it, brother.
Buddy.
We'll be right back for the last segment, and we'll feature the local beer of the week. And welcome back to the Super Terb Podcast. Again, I'm your host, Michael Terbet, your local real estate expert with the Terbet Group, Coldwell Banker HPW, and I still have my friend Graham Bunn with me because we're going to feature this local beer of the week, which I'm actually going to you're going to message me your address after this, Graham, and I'm shipping you something.
Come on, I need
Raleigh beer. I need
that.
So, as you know, I don't know, when's the last time you've been out to Raleigh? You were here not too long ago. Yeah, we'll travel.
With COVID, it's been hard. A year and a half.
Okay. Well, as you know, there's a lot of breweries out here. There are good breweries out there in LA. I mean, there's a lot of craft beer.
I don't get into micro brews that much, but I'm sure there are. So but I'm not familiar.
Gotcha. Well, what I'd like to do is I try to feature a local beer of the week on the podcast and tag them and try to promote them. And this week it's a good brewery. It's Big Boss Brewing Company. They're actually down near Wake Forest Road. They're tap room, so they have food trucks and entertainment. Now with COVID, I always tell people, make sure you call ahead, make sure they're open, but you obviously can buy the beer there. And I like stout beers. I got into IPAs over the summer, and they're good. I'm learning how to get, but I like stout, especially in the winter. Problem with stouts though, they pack some calories on that COVID-19 was real pound wise. But the beer I like that they have, it's called Aces and Eights. It's a seasonal coffee stout, 8%, so it packs a punch. But it's a good, so go check them out. And as I said before at the beginning of the show with you, I always promote my friends at Taylor's Wine Shop. They're off North Raleigh, off Six Forks Road. Mm-hmm. There's another great bottle shop that when you come home, it's over, where obviously Wakefield is, over at Falls.
Yep.
Wakefield Tavern. That there's a place called D's Bottle Shop right next to it. They got 15 beers on draft. You get growlers, beer, but you can bring food in, play darts. So hopefully when things they're still relaxed, I mean, they're getting better, we get back out there and check it out. So anyway, go see them. Tell them Terb sent you. Graham, brother, stay on. Don't get off quite yet, but I'm going to sign off here. But I can't thank you. Make sure you say hello to your parents for me. I wish you nothing but success, and I appreciate you spending the time with me and us catching up. So, again, it's Michael Terbet, your local real estate expert with the Terbet Group, Coldwell Banker HPW. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Super Terb Podcast. If you can, please like and subscribe. Go to my YouTube channel, Michael Terbet. Check it out. And if you want to be on the show, please email me. I'd love for you to come on and tell your story. Again, as always, guys, remember, who you work with matters. I hope you have a phenomenal week.